Hi, I'm David. I'm from the Solar Centre and I'm here today to introduce to you our latest product, the Astron Solar Floodlight. It's a 40 LED, commercial grade, remote controlled solar floodlight. The Astron has a number of uses. It's IP56 rated, therefore it can be used in the UK all year round and you don't have to worry about our weather conditions. You can use it in the garden, you can use it in the shed, stable lighting, even in the home as emergency lighting. It's portable, you can fix it, you can have it as a general flood lighting for your garden or event. So, what do you get in the box? With the Astron, it's basically made up of 4 components. You have your solar panel, you have your remote control, you have your light unit, and lastly, you have your brackets and fixings. Of course, with every product, you have instructions, nice and simple to follow, and install your light. With all the components, as you can see laid out here, well packaged so you know it's going to be sent from us to be received by you in excellent condition. Right, we're now going to look at the actual components that come in the box in a bit more detail. I like to start with the solar panel. The solar panel is the part that generates the energy for your light. The energy generated from the solar panel is stored in integral batteries which are stored in the light unit. The panel we use is a polycrystalline solar panel. It's one of the most efficient solar panels you can get in the UK. It's very similar to the sort that would be installed on your home for a mains powered installation. The solar panel is glass fronted, has an aluminium frame. It has 10 watts of power, which is equivalent to about 100 times what a typical garden light would have. Completely waterproof, fine for installation outside all year round. The next component is the remote control. Why do we have a remote control? The light is generally stored at a very high height. You use it for security, you use it as general lighting in a stable block or a shed, and you can't always get to the switch to turn it on and off. The light unit itself can be left on all the time, and the remote control can be used to operate it should you not want it on the whole time. With the remote control, it is RF, which is radio frequency. What this means is that you do not have to be directly in front of the light to power it. You don't have to be in line of sight, it will pick it up, whether you're in your armchair, in your living room, or if you're out in the garden. It has a range of approximately 50 metres, so you do not even need to be close to the light. This is great for operating the light should you hear something outside and you want to use it purely as a security deterrent. The light itself is a very heavy unit. It's made from cast aluminium, which makes it very waterproof, very solid. It's a solid glass front on the front as well, and that makes it extra nice to the eye and allows you to have a solid product. The unit is streamlined and slick with a very tough bracket for mounting it to walls. Of course, you can use the bracket to just stand the light upright as well. People use it as a work light, you can use it for working on your car in the garage, as I've said previously, in your shed, or as a floodlight in your home or garden. 40 LEDs in the unit. In the back end of the unit is where the batteries are stored. The batteries will have a maximum capacity of 12 hours, which will obviously see you through the longest nights. On the back of the unit, we have the on-off switch. We also have 2 panel inputs. The reason for 2 panel inputs is if you do want this to operate for 12 hours, even in winter, you can have and add an extra panel to it. The typical runtime from an average winter's day would be 5 hours to 6 hours every evening. If you did want it to run all evening, if you had a party at the weekend or something like that, you can simply use the remote control to turn it off during the week to conserve the energy so that you can have it to run all night long in the winter. The last part in the pack is the brackets, the fixing brackets. Now, if you were mounting it to a sloped roof, you obviously wouldn't need to have the angle brackets, but if this is being flat mounted onto a flat roof, the brackets give you the perfect 45-degree angle in order to set it at the right angle for all year round use. These can also be used to wall mount the unit, so if you had it on a wall, again 45 degrees would allow you to put the panel at the perfect angle. With these brackets, we do supply very heavy duty fixed-in plugs. The reason we do this is the units are heavy and they do need to be secured very safely. These are the units for masonry fitting. The last part in the kit is, of course, your instruction guide. We have a nice, quick, easy guide so you can set your light up in a matter of minutes. However, for those who do like the details, it is very thorough and you can see exactly what you're doing, and should you have a problem, the answers will be here. We're now going to talk about the installation of the light, also look at the brightness and how it operates. With the bracket, as mentioned earlier, it's got nice solid bolts holding the bracket in place to the light. These simply unscrew to remove the bracket. Put the screws to one side, keep them somewhere safe, so that you got the bracket separate from the light. This bracket, with your heavy duty screws, is then mounted to your wall. Once that's in place, do remember to check that it's firmly in place. You can then mount your light into the bracket. Next part of the process is to fix the brackets to your panel. The brackets have to be fitted with the smaller ends towards the edge where it's going to be mounted, and also the screws which go through are fixed to the nuts which are on the underside. This allows the panel to be mounted at a 45-degree angle on your flat surface, or, as previously mentioned, on your wall. Please do know that the angle of the bracket should be on the outside of the panel, so that once you install that, if it's on your wall, it is nice and easy to screw your screws without being in the way of the panel. The panel has 5 metres of cable, so you do have to make sure that wherever you decide to locate your light is within 5 metres of where you want to situate the panel. The panel positioning is exceptionally important because it does need sun in order to generate the energy. It's now time to look at the light unit. The light unit needs to be connected to the panel. You do this simply with one of the 2 sockets at the bottom. The cable simply plugs in, gives a little twist to ensure it's nice and firmly seated in place. We do recommend 1 full day to charge the batteries up to full on the Astron so that it's ready to use. After the light has had its full day charge, you're now ready to turn the light unit on. This is easily done simply by the switch on the bottom of the light. My colleague now is going to turn the light off so you can see the brightness of the light. As you can see, it's a very bright light. We'll show it to the ceiling and show it to the backboard. You can see the sort of light that it gives out. This is plenty bright enough to light an area of anywhere up to 30 square metres. The light is easy to turn off with the remote control and back on again should you need to. Right, we're now going to look at the functionality of the light. Once the light's turned on, put into position, it's in what's called an automatic mode. This will operate exactly the same as your garden lights in your garden. As soon as it's dark enough, the light will come on. When it's light enough, the light will go off. I'm going to demonstrate this now by simulating darkness by simply covering the panel over. In a light room, the light is off. Put the panel into darkness, the light will come on. Once it detects light again, you would need to give it a couple of seconds, but after about 10-15 seconds, the light will go off as it believes it's day. Once it believes it's day, the batteries will be being charged by the sun. Should you wish, you can now use the light in the manual mode also. The manual mode basically means that you can turn the light on by the remote control, so that if you're going out in the evening and you don't want the light to be on, you can turn it off, or if you do want it to come on, automatically you leave it on the first mode. Should you want it to be off, all you do, during the day, still daylight, you press the bottom button and the light will flash 5 times. You now know, even in daylight conditions, that the light is turned off and will not come on automatically. Should the light have been off for several days and you're not sure whether it's on or off, you do not need to get up the ladder to go and check to see that. The light, just assume, is on the whole time, but take your remote control out, this time with the top button, turn it on, it will flash 3 times. 3 times, 3 flashes means the light is on. This will now be back to its automatic mode, whereby as soon as it's dark, the panel goes into darkness, your light comes on.